are driven by the finer things. I see more than materials and wealth. What have you got to give to me? What I don't already give myself. You are driven by the and then I go and say, oh, I say something stupid like I love you. Don't know why I sat down and that song just came to my head. Quite a nice song. Welcome to Illuminated Disclaimer. Shay, love and guidance and namaste to you, Sydney. And I hope that you are spending this current period of your life just illuminating and finding who you truly are in this world. So today I'm going to do something different, but something that I will incorporate into a lot of Illuminated Disclaimer. As you probably are or are not aware, I spent the last, since last August, so almost a year, I spent that whole time just reading books, reading loads of books. It's crazy, like I was never a self quote unquote academic, but I really did like just understanding how people understood books like that. And it was only until last year, just being around the right kind of people just made me actually express myself and just say to myself, "Raw, I want to read more books." Then people started giving me books and I realized I was getting more and more books. But then at this point I had 3 different jobs and I had other things to do in between that, like studying. So I didn't have the chance to actually sit down and read a book. So instead, I just thought to myself, audiobooks. Whenever I go for a long drive, audiobook. Whenever I go for a short drive, audiobook. Whenever I'm working at my desk in my study, audiobook. And I realized that audiobooks are good because whenever I didn't miss something or I wanted something to be reread, I could just rewind it 10-15 seconds. And it works so much better for me because sometimes I could read something and I could just lose it. So I had to be quite tuned and I lose focus quite easily. But with audiobooks, I just feel like I could just listen to it. It just comes into the background, and once you're just present and focusing on that, you get into a state of flow with your work. So it works for me. Long story short, before I knew it, I just started reading loads of books. I'm probably on a dozen books now in the space of a year, which is really good. And I just thought to myself, I might as well share my experiences with some of these books, what I learned, what was critical about it, and hopefully get you on board to read the books too. So first one I wanted to talk about was Who Moved My Chains, and it's a book by Dr. Spencer Johnson, and it was something that was given to me as a Christmas present, as a really thoughtful Christmas present, to be honest with you, because it is very short, but it's very moving. And I think out of all the books that I've read, I feel like this one had a really strong point in my heart. I'm not going to rate them out of 10. I'm not going to do that. To me, they're all perfect in their own ways. But this book, even though it was short, it was hard hitting, and that's what I loved about it. I read it when I went to Portugal. I was returning from Portugal, and I realised that on a flight home from Portugal, you don't really have much. The seats to the left and to the right of me were packed with 2 men. So I couldn't even like stretch, and there was no TV, so I was like, what am I going to do for the next 2 hours? And I realised I had this book in my bag, and yeah, 2 hours well spent. I read the book and I still had about 45 minutes to spare on the flight. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And what I love about this book the most is the fact that it actually pivoted my way of thinking. It was just like, raw, if you want what you truly want, you can't get complacent, you can't get comfortable, you just need to keep on going to what you want. So I would highly recommend reading this book. It's very short, it's very concise, it's very to the point, and 28 million copies sold. Like, I see why there'll be so much copies sold. But I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to have these book reviews and just say basically stage one is act one is this, act two is that. I don't want to do that. I just want to give a brief outline of what the book is about and what I learned from the book. Just keep it short and snappy, you know what I'm saying? So basically there's four characters and they're looking for cheese. And each character portrays a different person who you might see in your life. You might compare one of the characters to someone you know. You might not. You might just use use your imagination to imagine what these characters are like. But you have four characters doing their own things in order to find cheese. But the thing is, the cheese is scarce. The cheese is a limited resource. And where they are, they can find more cheese or they can stay with the cheese that they have. They know that if they leave the cheese, they might die looking for some more cheese. They might stay with this cheese and this cheese will run out, but it depends on your perspective. You might see an abundance of things which are right for you, but you might not see that as a finite resource. And what I loved about the cheese is a metaphor for more things. The cheese can be a job. The cheese can be something materialistic. A cheese could be a goal. But what perspective do you have if you view whatever you're looking for as cheese? Are you going to find a way to take the cheese with you? Are you going to find a way to find bigger amounts of cheese? Are you going to stay with your cheese and stay until the end? Well, if the cheese goes, would you stay at the same place waiting for this cheese to come back? It gives you a lot of philosophical questions about what you'll do if you're in a situation where you're with cheese and it might be running out. What do you do? For me, it was like I started DiiSCLAIMER Wellbeing Services in the DiiSCLAIMER umbrella, but that is basically my version of my cheese. Now it's big and it's abundant, there's plenty of it. I'm enjoying cheese, cheese is everywhere. But I think to myself, what happens if this cheese goes away? I need to find ways to keep this cheese. If this cheese disappears, then I need to find new cheese, and that could be seen as a way of shaping my business to adapt to the common needs that everybody's going through. So, if the cheese was gone in your scenario, what are you doing? Are you going to sit there in fear, just knowing that the next cheese might be millions of miles away? Or are you going to actively seek for the cheese? If you notice that your cheese is depleting, are you going to find a new piece of cheese? How far are you willing to travel to find a decent piece of cheese if you've got a decent piece of cheese right next to you? It gives you all these questions, but it unlocks the ability to see what character you'll be and what situation you'll be in when it comes to your own stuff. I'll leave it at that because it's a very interesting read, and I would say I like to have given it justice. But to be honest with you, like just reading the words and how things go together, you can learn so much in so little time. As I said, it probably took me an hour and a half, if that, to read. And it's one of those books where I know it's quite short, but like very, very strong and hard hitting. To be honest with you, I'm going to gift this to someone. I'm not too sure who I'm going to gift it to. I might even do a raffle. Just someone just randomly just comment that they win the book. Or likely just give it to you. You know, just sign it, do whatever, and give it away. But really good book, 20 years old, really beautiful, and it just shows like in this lifetime we may have to adapt and move quickly if we want to hold on to our dreams and continue our dreams. And let's just get analytical with it and let's just understand truly what we want and just grow from there. So all of us has our cheese in our own right way. That's been a new episode of Random Illuminated Disclaimer. But if you wanted to listen to Random Disclaimer, the link is in my bio. If you want to check out my LinkedIn or my Instagram, the link is in the bio. And if you want to see my website as well, it's www.disclaimer.com. And the I's, there's two I's, where the first I is. Thank you so much for listening. Please, please, please like, subscribe and share. And please leave comments. If you want me to do any content whatsoever, please let me know. I'm going to be doing a lot more things and just making sure that I get more constant content going out. My goal is to hit 100 episodes by the end of the year. I think that I'll definitely do that. But I need your help too. Just think about ways that I can help illuminate the path for countless other people. And also find the light in your life to make sure that you yourself can make this world a better place. Thank you so much, Shay. Love and guidance, and may the light illuminate your path. Thank you.